August 1st, 2024. 0800 hours. It's been 5 years and several months since Costello cleaned up his drinking and focused on a serious devotion to the risperidone. It's also been 5 years and several months since he's encountered his imaginary guests. After once considering Jenna a memory from his past, he chose a path that could someday lead to their reunion. Even after multiple conversations with his mother and the clear conclusion she would never remember him, he chose to roll the dice and let chance be the judge of their fate. He didn't see the harm in cleaning himself up and waking up every day knowing exactly where he was or who he spoke to the night before. He became comfortable with stepping outside of his apartment and welcoming the world into his life. Whether or not this brought him Jenna, he needed to capitulate to this way of life. His cardiac doctor was on the verge of strangling him if he didn't stop drinking, and his shrink had sadly given up on him. Watching someone wave at you while you settle at the bottom of your abyss sometimes gives you the realization you need to find your way up a floor or two. But therein lies the problem. Someone has pointed you in the direction of a crisis, and now you have to make a choice. Do nothing and let that which has been unknown for years remain unknown, or tap into the one place you know holds the key to the information answering the questions needing answered. These questions don't need answered only for you. They need answered for two families. What world would you live in where closure isn't important enough for anyone? Who are Taliberto Miramontes and Spencer Culbertson? Why did Delilah feel the need to prompt him to watch this video? Somewhere in this paradox lies Costello's existence. Eventually, it will be revealed. Costello instinctually knew he was involved, but trusted himself enough to know his involvement was incidental. Costello was now equating murder as incidental, and it wasn't sitting well with him. He immediately messaged Delilah and started the investigation. Costello messages Delilah. At Doll Scars. Happy Thursday. Have you been for your coffee and crullers yet? Delilah didn't answer for some time. According to the app, she'd seen the message. He didn't typically initiate conversation with her. He's already sizing up his cellmate. Why did she tell him to watch this series? Clearly, she knows it's him in the Hellas Liquor video. How did their communication even start? He went back to their first messaging, scrolling all the way back to 2017. She first messaged him in August of 2017. He thought he'd stalked every bit of her profile, but now he sees what he missed. In August of 2017, she's in a post with Ben. She was the girl in the background who said goodbye when Ben FaceTimed Costello in Seattle. She knows he was in Seattle at the time of the murders. Who fucking cares? Thousands of people were in Seattle at the time of the murders. Did Costello say something in a post that triggered her interest in him as a suspect? That is something we will never know, because having been through his raging agoraphobia and alcoholism, Costello sanitized his profile. All of it. Just as he hits another wall, she messages him back. Delilah messages Costello. At Young Costi. No crullers today. Ugh. What brings you around my DMs today? At Doll Scars. Honestly, I just woke up hungry and thought about your cruller fixes. I'd go for my own, but we both know the early bird gets the cruller. At Young Costi. So true. Remember to watch the series. Trip TF out. It's the creepiest. I want to hear your thoughts. At Doll Scars. Death gonna do that soon as I have time. At Young Costi. XO. There's no way to tell with her. Social media is a riddle. Non-verbal conversations are impossible. No intonation, no inflection, no facial expressions. Costello was a wizard with these aspects. Social media was the downfall of his excellency. As much as it pained him to even consider it, he would have to bring back his cast of characters to find the answers he was looking for. Before finding his wagon to fall off so he can conjure up his spectral stormy petrels, he figured he should start with the people navigating reality with him in flesh and blood. Ben could possibly help with insight into Miss Dahlskar's. Ben no longer worked at Costello's distribution company, but they stayed in contact. Costello respected Ben's effort to get him back on his feet back in 2017. When Ben was offered a new job elsewhere and put in his resignation in 2020, Costello took him out for dinner and opened up about his time in Seattle. He confessed to wasting the company's time and money, but also hoped Ben would understand he wasn't as ready for the great wide open as Ben thought. More importantly than unloading the truth about the expo, he wanted Ben to know how much he saw him as a friend and hoped they could continue to communicate as he left for greener pastures. Ben was very open to the request. So much, he made sure Costello understood he would be first in line if an equitable position ever became available at his new company. Costello expressed his appreciation and decided Ben would be the first person to learn a bit of information about Costello's financial status. He ordered dessert and gave Ben the backstory about Grands. Without too much detail and no monetary specifics, he told Ben the digital currency he bought in 2013 with his inheritance had grown astronomically in value, and he would no longer need to work if he didn't want to. Ben said he had to know if his progression with his health had anything to do with his lofty emoluments. Costello admitted he saw the cryptocurrency trending upward at such an unbelievable pace that he began to realize Grand's advice was in fact worth straightening himself out. Ben saluted Costello for his fortune and told him the offer still stands if a position ever becomes available. In fact, he felt even stronger about it because he knew the easing of financial stresses would make him even better at whatever he does. As the years passed, Costello never heard from Ben about a job. However, they found a friendship along the way. Costello needed to know more about Delilah, and he knew who would have the information he needed. He just had to make sure he finessed the contact so he didn't give Ben any reason to address their conversation to the police if they ever found a reason to question him.